You won't believe what these drivers did with heavy machinery. We found the most mind-blowing, catastrophic, and sometimes hilarious heavy equipment fails ever recorded. From jaw-dropping fails to unbelievable recoveries, here are the wildest moments caught on camera. We have everything from a bulldozer that decides to go for a swim, a crane that gives up mid-lift, and an excavator that forgets gravity. Each clip is more unbelievable than the last, and we're going to break down exactly what went wrong. Let's get into it. Picture this. You're at the controls of a massive bulldozer, the kind that weighs as much as a small house, rumbling along the edge of a riverbank. The job seems routine, just another day moving earth, shaping the land, and making progress on a big construction project. The river glistens nearby, deceptively calm, but you know that working this close to water always carries risks. Still, you trust your experience and the machine beneath you. But then, in a split second, a tiny miscalculation, a little too much weight on the wrong patch of ground, changes everything. The bulldozer's massive treads lose their grip, and suddenly, the entire machine lurches toward the water. The riverbank, weakened by days of rain and the constant vibration of heavy equipment, gives way beneath the dozer's weight. The ground crumbles, and the bulldozer slides, its metal frame screeching as it teeters on the edge, just for a moment, before gravity wins and it plunges into the murky river below. Inside the cab, the operator's heart pounds. Instinct takes over. He throws open the door, mud and water rushing in, and scrambles out, soaked to the bone and in total shock. The bulldozer, now half submerged, sinks deeper into the thick, sucking mud with every passing second. On the riverbank, co-workers rush over, their faces a mix of disbelief and horror. Some have their hands on their heads, others are shouting instructions, but everyone knows what this means. This is no ordinary accident. This is a disaster that could cost the company and the crew dearly. The team quickly calls in an excavator, hoping to pull the bulldozer out before it's lost for good. Heavy chains are attached, the excavator's engine roars, and the chain goes taut, straining under the enormous weight. Inch by inch the bulldozer seems to move, but the river's grip is relentless. Mud and water create a powerful suction, locking the machine in place. The excavator's tracks dig into the soft ground, struggling for traction. Suddenly, the excavator itself starts to slip, its massive arm swinging dangerously close to the water. For a terrifying moment, it looks like both machines might end up in the river, doubling the disaster. Tension rises as the crew scrambles to stabilize the excavator. Every attempt to free the bulldozer only seems to make things worse, sinking it deeper and deeper. The riverbank is now a chaotic scene of panic, frustration, and desperate problem-solving. Realizing they're in over their heads, the crew calls in specialized recovery teams. These experts arrive with heavy-duty equipment, cranes, and flotation devices, ready for a full-blown salvage operation. The cost of this rescue is already skyrocketing, and the clock is ticking. The recovery team lays down mats to stabilize the ground, coordinates every move, and works with precision honed by years of experience. But even for them, the river's muddy grip is a formidable opponent. Hours turn into days as they battle the elements and the stubborn earth. All of this chaos, all of this expense started with a single, seemingly harmless patch of riverbank giving way. It's a stark reminder of how quickly things can spiral out of control when working with heavy machinery in unpredictable environments. In the end, the cost to repair the damage is astronomical, far more than the bulldozer itself is worth. The riverbank is scarred, the project is delayed, and the lesson is painfully clear. In construction, one small mistake can lead to $1 million catastrophe. On a massive construction site where the skyline is constantly being reshaped by the ambitions of architects and the muscle of machines, every day brings new challenges. Towering cranes dot the horizon, their long arms reaching skyward, moving tons of steel and concrete with precision. These machines are the backbone of modern construction, and their operators are highly skilled, trained to handle immense loads with care and caution. But even the most experienced crews can find themselves at the mercy of forces beyond their control. On this particular day, a gigantic crane is tasked with lifting a massive concrete slab, an operation that requires perfect coordination and absolute trust in the equipment. The slab, weighing several tons, dangles from thick steel cables as the crane operator carefully maneuvers it into position. The entire site holds its breath, watching the delicate ballet of machinery and manpower. At first, everything seems to be going according to plan, but then, a subtle, almost imperceptible wobble ripples through the crane's base. It's the kind of movement that only the most seasoned eyes might notice, a warning sign that something is wrong beneath the surface. The operator feels a shudder through the controls, a signal that disaster could be imminent. The crane's outriggers, designed to stabilize the massive machine, begin to sink into the soft, unprepared ground. At first the lean is barely noticeable, but within seconds, the entire crane starts to tip. The shift is slow at first, almost surreal, but then gravity takes over, and the massive structure lurches violently. Inside the cab, the operator is gripped by pure terror. Alarms blare, and the world outside the glass windows tilts at a sickening angle. The crane's boom swings uncontrollably, crashing into the side of the nearly completed skyscraper. Steel and concrete buckle under the force, and the sound is unlike anything the workers have ever heard. The impact unleashes a deafening cacophony, a symphony of screeching metal, shattering glass, and crumbling concrete. Debris flies in every direction, filling the air with dust and chaos. The ground shakes as the crane collapses, its immense weight crushing everything in its path. Workers scramble to escape, running for their lives as the crane becomes a twisted wreck. Emergency alarms echo across the site, and chaos erupts as everyone tries to get clear of the danger zone. In moments, what was a bustling construction site is transformed into a scene of panic and destruction. When the dust finally settles, a huge chunk of the building is destroyed. The project, once a symbol of progress, is now halted indefinitely. Debris litters the ground, and the future of the skyscraper is suddenly uncertain. In the aftermath, investigators swarm the site, determined to find out what went wrong. Their inspection quickly reveals a critical oversight. The ground beneath the crane was never properly compacted. The soil, unable to support the crane's weight, gave way at the worst possible moment. The consequences are staggering. The accident causes millions of dollars in damages, not just to the equipment and the building, but also in lost time and shattered confidence. The project is delayed for months, and the entire team is left to pick up the pieces. This disaster stands as a terrifying lesson in the importance of a solid foundation. In construction, as in life, what lies beneath is just as important as what rises above. One small oversight can bring even the mightiest structures crashing down. Loading an excavator onto a trailer is a task that, for most experienced operators, becomes second nature over time. It's a process that demands patience, precision, and a healthy respect for the sheer weight and power of the machinery involved. But today, we're about to witness what happens when someone decides to skip a few steps, and the results are nothing short of jaw-dropping. The trailer is parked on a noticeable incline, and the metal ramps leading up to it look even steeper than usual. To make matters worse, the ground beneath the ramps is uneven and loose, making the setup even more precarious. The operator lines up the excavator, his face tense with concentration. You can almost sense his uncertainty as he prepares to drive this massive piece of equipment up the narrow, slippery ramps. Strangely, there's not a single spotter or helper in sight. No one is guiding him, no one is watching for hazards. It's just the operator, the excavator, and a whole lot of risk. What could possibly go wrong? With a deep breath, the operator eases the excavator forward. The tracks begin their slow, deliberate climb up the ramps. Every inch counts, and balance is absolutely everything in this moment. Suddenly, the operator gives it a bit too much throttle. The excavator lurches unexpectedly to one side, the entire machine wobbling dangerously. For a split second, it looks like he might regain control, but fate has other plans. The left track slips off the edge of the ramp, losing its grip entirely. Gravity takes over in an instant, and the massive machine begins to tip. The excavator teeters for a heart-stopping moment, then crashes down from the trailer with a sickening crunch that echoes across the site. The force of the impact sends a cloud of dust and debris flying. The cab slams into the ground, glass shattering and metal twisting under the force. The heavy arm smashes into the dirt, bending and buckling from the impact. What's left is a brutal, destructive fall, one that leaves the excavator wrecked and the site littered with debris. All of this could have been avoided with a little more caution and a lot less haste. The operator, visibly shaken and covered in dust, climbs out of the wrecked cab. He takes a moment to process what just happened, the reality of his mistake sinking in. It's a painful, expensive lesson, one that serves as a stark reminder. In construction, haste truly does make waste. Always respect the process, and never cut corners when safety is on the line. A massive dump truck on a steep road with failed brakes becomes a 40-ton missile. The driver honks frantically, trying to keep it on the winding road. He swerves into the embankment, but the truck's momentum is too great. The driver spots a runaway truck ramp, his only hope. With incredible skill, he guides the truck into the ramp. The truck's speed is cut dramatically and it comes to a stop. The silence after the chaos is deafening. The driver survived a potential catastrophe with quick thinking and skill. In a massive warehouse, a forklift operator tries to drift a corner. He clips a shelving unit, and the domino effect begins. Shelves lean and crash, one after another in a cascade of failure. Boxes and metal beams come crashing down in a thunderous roar. The forklift is buried under debris, the driver miraculously unharmed. An entire section of the warehouse is flattened, a bomb-like scene. The cost of the lost inventory and cleanup is astronomical. A powerful lesson: slow and steady prevents disasters. A backhoe operator hesitates at a weak wooden bridge over a ravine. He decides to go for it, inching onto the creaking planks. The bridge sags and the suspense is unbearable. Halfway across, the main support beams snap. The backhoe plunges into the ravine with a deafening boom. The bridge is destroyed and the backhoe is a wreck. A stark reminder: weight limits are not suggestions. The operator's gamble created a massive problem for everyone. A front-end loader on an icy parking lot becomes a hilarious spectacle. The loader spins like a figure skater, the operator wrestling for control. It pirouettes gracefully, a massive yellow ballerina. The loader finally finds traction and stops abruptly. The operator sits, questioning his life choices. A hilarious low-stakes fail that reminds us even big machines can look foolish. And that's a wrap on the most desperate drivers and insane heavy equipment fails ever caught on camera. These clips show how quickly things can go wrong with heavy machinery. Let us know in the comments which fail had you on the edge of your seat. Safety protocols and proper training prevent disasters like these. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.